Alright guys, here's the next part for what if Goku was a reincarnation of Majin Buu. So now, what happened was, Broly got defeated through Hit time skip, as now the final fight is between Goku and Hit. And this is the final fight to conclude this tournament. As now, we have to find out who the winner of this tournament and the one who will have Earth is. So now, what happens is Goku has to come up with a strategy to beat this time skip, as he then thinks the issue is speed. If I can make myself faster, I'll be able to outwit this opponent. As basically at the moment we have a flashback, a few weeks, as Beerus then says, Goku, I've decided that I will train you on the ways to being a destroyer, as I am getting tired of this job and I will need a successor. As Goku says, oh, it's fine, I was gonna do this job anyway, so tell me, how does this destroyer key work? As then basically Beerus then says, alright, let me give you a lesson on what it means to have the power of a destroyer. As now, this is where the flashback ends. As Goku then says, alright, I got it. I know exactly what I have to do. As now, the ring, basically, Goku steps on the ring. And so does Hit. And Hit's powers, are something that Goku is aware of now, as he's come up with a way to counter it. As Hit then says, alright, let's see what you got. As Goku then goes straight into his Mystic Super Saiyan Blue, which is quite powerful and pushes everyone back except for Hit, as Hit smiles. And now Goku and Hit are tied in this battle, as Hit is having so much fun fighting against Goku. And Goku is enjoying this fight, as he says, I've not had this much of a challenge other than Beerus. As Hit then says, it's a shame I can't use my full power, as my full power is assassination techniques, which would kill you, and then I'd be disqualified. As Goku then says to everyone, let's change the rules, guys. Allow killing for this match, as we can simply bring people back with the Dragon Ball dynamic. As everyone says, okay, as Hit then smiles and says, you're gonna regret that, Goku, as behold my full power. As Hit then uses his time skip, he uses attacks that shut down pressure points on people's bodies, damaging them and stopping Goku from being able to use his arm. And basically Goku is unable to use his right arm, as now Goku is left on the back foot. As Hit then says, as you can see, I am too strong with my assassination abilities, as there is no one I cannot kill. To which Goku is shocked and says, I see. Well, this would have been the end of me if I didn't take those quick lessons from Beerus, and my learning capabilities were not amazing. As basically, Goku says, behold what I learned in the span of just 3 weeks. As Goku then channels his ki, as it turns from a beautiful blue to a dark and hazy purple, as he then shouts loudly, shaking the arena, making everyone scared on the power that's in front of them. As now Goku says, behold the power of the destroyers, Ultra Ego. As basically in the Dragon Ball Super manga, this is the name of the destroyer technique, Ultra Ego. The abilities of this technique is, instead of being able to dodge like Ultra Instinct, with Ultra Ego, every amount of damage you take just makes you stronger, basically. So the more hits you, the more people attack you, the stronger you become. So now this is the perfect form for combat and for a destructive being like Majin Buu. As now Goku says, let's step this up a notch. As Hit then says, yeah, let's. As Hit then starts attacking Goku some more. As Goku then shows Hit his regeneration, as Goku even regenerates his once paralyzed arm. As now the fight gets serious, as Goku is simply using his Zenkai boost, regeneration, and the power of Ultra Ego, to dish back everything Hit throws at him, as Hit simply can't compete to the sheer tank that is Goku. As Hit then says, I like I like being strong, but no one said I'm a martial artist that lives for fighting. As Hit then says, I prefer when my prey is easy to kill. As Hit then says, I've done enough for this fight. I'll obviously not win. I surrender. As Hit then steps off the ring and forfeits the match. As Goku is disappointed but understands Hit's reasoning, and Hit does not want to risk more damage than he has to, as Hit does not have the ability of Zenkai Boost. As Goku is declared the winner, Champo is angry with Hit, but Hit says, watch your mouth, Champo. For now, I can beat you. Whatever attack you give me, I'll just dish it back too. As Champo realizes that Hit is around his level now, which means that even though Champo could win, Champo would take a lot of unnecessary damage. And Champo just leaves Hit to relax, I guess. So now, when the tournament's about to be concluded, Zeno then comes. Goku, as the original, giving Zeno a handshake and making friends with Zeno. As now, basically, I would say Zeno and Goku are friends. So, while basically in the original series, the Goku Black Saga would happen by now, well, let's just put it this way, it's not gonna happen. Because, first of all, Zamasu cannot access all the power that Goku has, as Zamasu was only able to kill everyone, through a specific set of scenarios. Like, first of all, he probably got Vegeta off guard, and since Vegeta was the only one stronger than Goku, basically at that point, it was an easy win. But now it's a completely different situation, as first of all, there's now basically there are basically three other Saiyans that are capable of beating Goku. On top of this, Beerus, like, let's put it this way, even if Zamasu did take Goku's body, Zamasu would be beaten instantly, which means the Goku Black arc basically doesn't happen in this scenario. Simple as that. So now, let's cut back to someone who had been watching in the shadows, however, as we see an old, basically a man who is tall and had been training for the last 12 years to beat Goku. As we now see a King Cold who had practiced and honed his abilities year after year to get an ability strong enough to beat Goku. And around this time is the same time that the Tournament of Power was about to begin. So now, King Cold had traveled to the world of the Kais to set his revenge against Goku. But then he's told, basically he hears what they're talking about, as they basically say that there's a tournament to decide the fate of each universe. As around this time is when Universe 9 comes to sabotage Universe 7, as Universe 9 wanted to try defeat Goku and Universe 7 before the tournament even began. But now Goku is too strong for that, as basically they try Hakaiing Goku, but like Goku does not lose. But now, basically one of the Universe 9 soldiers runs into this, basically into King Cold, as they say, "Hey you, I'm running out of options here. I want to give you an offer." As King Cold is intrigued and says, "What do you want, you simple dog?" As basically the Universe 9 warrior then tells King Cold that he's willing to have King Cold become the leader of Universe 9's team. As King Cold's intrigued by this, as King Cold wants to beat Goku, as basically King Cold then says, "I accept." As now King Cold disappears into Universe 9 to train up their warriors to become more powerful. So just basically, just to tell everyone, every other universe put in a lot more effort now, since everyone knows how strong Universe 7 is. But for very many universes, there's nothing they can do. So basically, But basically for universes like Universe 11, it's a whole different story. As now, basically, King Cold goes to Universe 9 to come up with ways to train and to even make Universe 11 more powerful. As now what happens is Goku then has to find his team, as he then comes up with his idea for the new team of Universe 7. As obviously his first few fighters are himself, Raditz, Vegeta, who else is there? Let's see. On top of this, they have Broly. On top of that, now they go to Namek and they call Cargo and Nail, which basically gives them 6 fighters. As they then go to Planet Yodrat and they call Paibara, who is basically the Yodratian leader and has all the Yodratian techniques, which makes them 7. As now, basically, they then go to Planet Earth, as they then get Piccolo, basically Kami's son, Piccolo. That's what he names his son. As basically they get Piccolo, Kami's son. On top of that, they get Krillin, and the last fighter is Master Roshi. As then the team is now set. One thing I forgot to mention is while King Cold was leaving, he noticed something that intrigued him, as he saw a sword that had a strange power calling to him, as he then took the sword with him as he went to Universe 9, as this will be important if you paid attention to the past parts of the series. As now, the Tournament of Power is set to begin, as we now see Universe 9 with King Cold, and basically King Cold has someone next to him, as it's a giant man hulking in strength, as everyone is shocked on who this man is, as Cumber had arrived again from this Z-Sword and been unsealed. Cumber and King Cold being the 2 strongest fighters for Universe 9. While in Universe 11, Jiren had trained with his Kai and had his potential unlocked, as Jiren is now even stronger than before. On top of this, Toppo fully mastering his destroyer form, and Despo training to get the abilities of Ultra Instinct and can now use Ultra Instinct Omen, as now the battle is set to begin. First of all, I'm gonna skip through most of this as it's really irrelevant, as I'll say that Raditz had also been training for Ultra Instinct, and Vegeta had basically been trying to find his own path, as he then came up with a way to basically evolve the Super Saiyan form even further than before, as he decides to go back to his Ozaru roots as he grows out his tail, and this leads to him experimenting with the Ozaru, basically creating a golden Ozaru and unlocking Super Saiyan 4. After getting Super Saiyan 4, he then mixes it with his Super Saiyan Blue transformation, giving you Super Saiyan 4 Blue, as basically Vegeta at this point can use this form, but only for a short amount of time before he runs out of energy. As basically, this power is basically about it's basically a really strong transformation. Like it's comparable to Mastered Ultra Instinct to Goku in the original series in power. So now after this, the fight basically begins. As now Kale and Caulifla fuse into Kefla, which then leads to Broly fighting against Kefla. And Broly too had been getting his power even stronger and stronger, and had actually taken it to heights never seen before, as he too had basically worked on what he had right now and focused on working on his base form, as his Super Saiyan form grows over time anyway. As now Broly was able to match Kefla, and he actually manages to defeat Kefla. And that's how that fight ends. And on top of this, But unfortunately, Broly decides to fight against Jiren, to which Jiren swiftly knocks Broly out. And then we now skip forward to the end, near the end of this tournament, as we see 4 universes remaining. Basically, these are the universes that are still relevant. These are universes 6, 7, 11, and 9. Universe 9 being held up by the fact that they have King Cold and Cumber. As King Cold and Cumber then look at each other as they know what they have to do. As they then show off their most powerful technique. As basically King Cold then shows the result of his training. As King Cold then, after training with the Destroyer for a span of about for a while basically, he unlocks his own Destroyer state, as he's now unlocked. On top of this, after training for 15 years just to beat Goku, he surpassed the Golden State and unlocked his Platinum form, as he's now Platinum Destroyer King Cold. As next, Cumber had, after losing to Goku the first time, had trained further and further, unlocking the Super Saiyan Blue transformation. And on top of this, he knows about the power of Super Saiyan God, as he too has the power of Super Saiyan God Blue, while making these guys a threat to be messed with. As basically near the end of the fight, the Namekians realized that they would have to do something, as basically Piccolo, Cargo, and Nail fuse into one being, as this makes a really strong Namekian. But basically, these guys fight against the remaining of Universe 6. This Namekian fights against Universe 6 and is eventually eliminated. As now, we're at the end game of this tournament, as now the remaining fighters are Jiren, Toppo, Dispo, King Cold, Cumber, Goku, Vegeta, and Raditz. And these are the remaining fighters. As now, basically, Cumber is a threat. Like, he has Super Saiyan 4 Blue, which means right now he's the biggest opponent in the whole tournament. As even Jiren only had his potential unlocked, which did take him far, but is still not enough to beat Cumber. As now Jiren versus Cumber happens, and this is a very explosion-filled battle. But even Jiren can't hold a candle and is eventually beaten. As now they realize what has to take place. As Goku then springs off to fight against Cumber. As Cumber basically managed to also eliminate. On top of this, he eliminated Toppo, which left King Cold, Dispo, Raditz, Goku, and basically Cumber left in this battle. As Goku goes to fight against Cumber, while Vegeta then looks at King Cold and you realize, as he then says, "You are the last Frost demon I have to beat, as then I will have had my revenge on all you who tormented the Saiyans." As Vegeta then springs off to fight against King Cold. While next, Raditz, who had been practicing to get Ultra Instinct, looks at Dispo and says, "Well, we both have the same technique, don't we?" As Dispo then says, "Yes, let's make this an eventful fight, as I am the fastest in Universe 11. As Raditz says, "Well, I have heard that when I'm in my Super Saiyan Blue form, I remind people of Sonic the Hedgehog, whoever that is. So let's see who will win." As basically Raditz and Dispo go into a fight. As now, these 3 battles are the ones to decide the state of the universe. As now, we first see Raditz versus Dispo. This is a hard-fought battle, as they both have Ultra Instinct, none of them willing to give in. But Raditz feels a push, as he then masters this Ultra Instinct form, as Beerus then says, "He's done it, hasn't he?" As Raditz then says, "Yes, I have. I have mastered the Ultra Instinct state." As Goku then says, "I'm proud of you, Raditz. At first, you were someone who was not really strong, looked down upon, but now you have attained powers of the angels. As Raditz then says, thank you, brother, for bringing me this far. As Raditz then defeats Dispo. As Raditz then unfortunately runs out of energy due to the fact that the Master Ultra Instinct drains ki, as Raditz is left down on the count on the ground. As next we have Vegeta versus King Cold, as King Cold versus Vegeta is a very hectic battle. As Vegeta then says, I have pushed further than any Saiyan has on Saiyan biology. I will not lose to you simply because you have trained and you have this destroyer form. As Vegeta then says, I have Super Saiyan 4 Blue right now, but I will not allow you to defeat me. See the power of a royal Saiyan. As Vegeta then mixes his Super Saiyan Blue evolution with the Super Saiyan 4, giving him Super Saiyan 4 evolution. As he then jumps out and fights against King Cold, as this is a fight that shakes the arena, no one knowing the true winner. But Vegeta then says, this is for the Saiyans, the generations, and the potential that you killed back long ago. As Vegeta then shouts as his ki spikes up and he has a power boost. As now he then launches a blast at King Cold, which pushes him out of the arena. As basically the issue is that this blast took everything Vegeta had, and Vegeta ends up falling out of the ring due to the opposite force. Like the impact of this blast pushed Vegeta backwards, as both King Cold and Vegeta fall out of the ring. But Vegeta, knowing he was a victor, as King Cold is left on the ground nearly dead, while Vegeta stands triumphant in the stands, knowing that he beat King Cold. And the only problem was that he got sent back so far that the arena, he literally just ran out of arena, which was such a sad way to get knocked out. But Vegeta had basically no energy anyway. As now, the last fight takes place, which is Goku versus Cumber, the ancient wicked Saiyan versus Goku, the reincarnation of Majin Buu. As Goku then springs out to fight against Cumber, Goku decided to put in everything he had learned, as Cumber had become a major threat. As just imagine what Vegeta was able to do. Now Cumber had the power of the legendary Super Saiyan already, so when he does any transformation, it's hundreds of times stronger. So he was in his Super Saiyan. Basically, Cumber's Super Saiyan 4 Blue was demonically strong, as it was putting Goku on the back foot. As Goku was on the losing end of this battle, as Cumber, even just by seeing the Super Saiyan Blue evolution, evolved his own Super Saiyan Blue to the same point as Cumber versus Goku. And Goku is about to lose, but everyone in the stand says, Goku, we're cheering for you. You have the strength, you have the power. Show us the strength of Universe 7. As Goku taps into his mind, he remembers every technique that he has seen, every technique that he learned, everything that he was able to master. As he then remembers Raditz using this power of the Kaioken, as he begs in his mind, please, I've seen Raditz do this countless times, and my skill of learning is astronomical. I know Buu was able to copy a technique just by seeing it, so why can't I? As Goku then says, please, I know I'm not mastered this form, and I can only do it once, but I hope this works. As he then closes his eyes and shouts, Kaioken! As now Goku springs out into his Kaioken form, as now this doubles his power. But Goku realizes that this is the furthest he can go, as the fact that he's already in his destroyer state with potential and knocked on top is dramatically, with Kaioken on top of that, is dramatically seeping through his energy. And on top of this, the fact that he had to keep regenerating has already zapped his stamina. As he realizes he's going to have to end this with one last attack. As he says, Cumber, I have now overshadowed you in power. See what power used for good can do. As Goku then springs off with one final blast, as he then shouts, Dragon Fist, as an image of a dragon emanates through Goku's arm. The power of all Universe 7 is encapsulated in this one punch as it hits Cumber straight in the jaw, sending him out of the arena. Finally, putting an end to the menace. As Cumber in his anger then charges up once he's outside the stands. Basically, he's already been eliminated, but he doesn't accept it. As he then shouts, I will ascend past everyone who has ever come against me. As he tries charging up further and further, as he looks at Zeno and says, I'll kill you, Omni King. As he springs out against Cumber to try and kill him. But Zeno then says, My, this mortal has become unruly, hasn't he? As he then says, well, bye-bye. As Cumber is erased forever. As now, Goku and Raditz now have the wish on what to do with the universes that were destroyed. As Raditz was still in the ring, he was just out of energy completely. As they both agreed that they want to revive every universe that was destroyed. As now they all go home, and Goku is given the position of destroyer by Beerus, as Beerus then says, I am amazingly proud of you, and you've done so well. While Shin then says, if Goku's gonna be the destroyer, we need a strong enough Kai to be at his side, and I'm simply too weak to do this job. As he then says, Raditz, you've trained hard, gone on the right path, and worked to become powerful. I give you my position. As Raditz is then made the Supreme Kai of Universe 7. Well, basically now, Vegeta and Broly decide that they want to work more on their Saiyan heritage, as now they decide to go to Universe 6 to see the strength of the people there. As Vegeta ends up marrying Bulma, basically, and having children, while at the same time visiting Universe 6 to train his pupil Cumber and to just see the way Saiyans lived. While Raditz and Goku end up marrying, basically Goku ends up falling in love with a Kai from one of the different universes. I forgot her name, but Goku ends up falling in love with her as they get married. As now, Zeno allows it since Goku is friends with him. As they then get married and they have a kid, who Goku calls Gohan. While Raditz marries someone from Universe 6, a Universe 6 Saiyan, as he decides to marry Khalifa, as they have a child called Ranch. Well, yeah, Broly marries Kale, and they also have a child called Asparagus. As now, the multiverse is left in a point of peace for a long time, unless a new threat came to fight against them, which has not been seen yet. So this is how this timeline ends, in a point of peace. Hope you guys enjoyed it so far, and yeah, please subscribe and like, as the next series has already been decided, as the next series will be, what if the heroes and villains of Dragon Ball switched places? What if the Goku that we knew to know and love was born to be evil, while at the same time everyone else who was a villain originally is actually good in this universe? How would this impact Dragon Ball and everything after it? We'll find out in the next series I will make, so make sure to subscribe so that you can be notified about that. Thank you, and have a good day.